I created a mod for Minecraft to make myself 5 times my normal size. This mod not only increases my size, but also makes my reach much further, makes me jump higher by default, and makes it so I take less damage from everything. Yes, I know there are commands for all these things, but I'm a programmer and like to make things more difficult for myself. You'd think all these changes would make the game easier, but as you'll see later, it definitely came with its own set of challenges. My only goal in this challenge is to beat the game. Let's see if I can do it. To start off, I gathered some wood and then started wandering around in the hopes of finding a village or another structure I could loot for some easy items. Fortunately, we came across a village pretty quickly and I started grabbing a bunch of stuff. I did the typical speedrun strat of kill the golem for some iron to make a pickaxe and then trade with a fisherman to get a bucket. This just saves us a bit of time so we don't have to go looking for iron. As you can probably imagine, trying to dig underground kinda sucks when you're 3 blocks wide and 9 blocks tall. As luck would have it, there was also a conveniently placed lava pool directly next to the village. Unfortunately, since we're so big, we can't really make the portal using the speedrun strats, so I had to build the portal in this stupid way. Once the portal was complete, I did one last lap around the village to grab some of the hay bales I missed so that I have enough food for the run, and I got ready to enter the nether. I wanted to save the extra iron I had, so I had to light the portal using lava and planks, but after a few minutes, it lit right up. I set my spawn and dumped half my stuff into a chest and stepped into the portal. We spawned in a soul sand valley, which was probably the most annoying place to spawn, not just because of the skeletons and ghast, both of which have projectiles they can use against me and my large hitbox, but also because this mod makes me move slower than usual. Combine that with the speed reduction that soul sand gives you and it's very annoying. Also, I don't know if you noticed, but our portal is very tiny and we are very large, meaning it would be impossible to return to the overworld through this portal, and every other way of realistically making a new portal would probably be tedious and take a long time. We'll come back to that later, but right now I wanted to focus on getting pearls and blaze rods. I wandered around the nether for around an hour and was unable to find a fortress or a bastion. I figured the bastion would probably be too annoying to deal with anyway, so that wasn't too big of a deal, but I still needed to find a fortress. I did manage to eventually find a warped forest that I used to grab all the ender pearls we needed, and I actually almost died a few times because jumping up on top of the trees was difficult sometimes. Once I got all the pearls, I started making my way back to the portal because I didn't want to risk losing them, but there was still the issue of how to get them back to the overworld. If you didn't know, you can actually throw items through the nether portal and they will end up in the other dimension. Great, so the items are taken care of, but how do we actually get ourselves back? Well, remember that I set my spawn right outside the portal. That was partially in case I died, but I also knew that this would be the easiest way to get all of the items back and return to the overworld. Now that I think about it though, I'm not actually sure if I could have just thrown an ender pearl through the portal or not. That might have worked, but I didn't think of it. Oh well. Also, ignore the fact that I was normal sized for a second there, that's just a tiny bug with the mod. I dumped the ender pearls in the chest to keep them safe and then headed back into the nether to try and find a fortress. This time I started traveling in the opposite direction from before, and of course there was a fortress literally right there just out of sight from where I was at the portal. I was worried I was going to need to dig around to find a blaze spawner, but luckily there was an exposed spawner not too far from where I was. In case you were curious, big hitbox plus blazes equals a very bad time. I swear every single blaze hit every single fireball on me, and for some reason there were like 10 blazes spawned in at any given time, all shooting at me. Fortunately, I didn't die at all, but it was very difficult to keep myself alive because there was nowhere to really hide as a giant. I managed to get 8 blaze rods and then headed back to the portal to do the same thing I did with the ender pearls. After getting back, I turned all of the pearls into eyes and started heading in the direction of the stronghold. We followed the eyes for about 1500 blocks, which was a bit annoying since I do move slower, but eventually we made it to right above where the stronghold was. Now for the most annoying part of the run, finding the portal room when the player takes up a 3x3x9 area. It genuinely took me around 30 minutes just to dig down to the stronghold, and then another 30 minutes to actually get to the portal room. I am so glad the portal was close to the hole that I dug because I heard silverfish and started digging in that direction. If I hadn't heard the silverfish coming from that direction, it probably would have taken me at least a few hours to find that room. But finally, I made it to the portal room, tossed all of the eyes into the portal, and entered the end for the battle with the dragon. The dragon fight wasn't too bad, but again, big hitbox means it's much easier to hit me, especially with the dragon's wings. I was able to climb up the obsidian pillars and break the crystals pretty easily, and then all that was left to do was to take down the dragon. I just waited for it to perch a couple of times and then hit it when it did, and after a few times, it went down. The one final challenge was actually getting through the portal after the dragon fight, but if you didn't know, you can just toss an ender pearl into this portal and it sends you right through. Easy peasy. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot, and you can always change your mind later. If you have any challenge suggestions, feel free to drop a comment down below. I mainly play Pokemon, Mario, and Minecraft, but I'm always open to new suggestions. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.